What's happening, guys? It's your boy Zike Junior, and welcome back to Football Fans Frenzy. Yes, it's Saturday football with Zike Junior, and I'm happy every Saturday to be here with you guys to discuss about football activities during the week, but also to look at the games that we have this weekend, of which, fortunately or unfortunately, as some people might think, we'll be starting with Manchester United hosting Everton at Old Trafford in about an hour and 30 minutes time. So it's a weekend packed with beautiful games of football, very tricky and difficult to actually analyze and actually tell you who is going to win the particular game or not, a particular game or not. But that's why I'm here, guys. That's my job. My job is to try as much as possible to break it down from my own understanding and perspective, teams that I feel based on evidence and based on data and based on what they showed this season so far, who will actually come on top of who, or maybe a draw, as the case might be in a particular encounter. But yes, guys, let's dive straight into it. First topic for today, Premier League this season. Who do you think is going to be winning the Premier League this season? And yeah, it's simple. I unlike other seasons where you can easily distinguish a team that you feel will actually be winning the league, this season is more close. It's more difficult to predict because teams the gap between teams are even smaller now. Most sides are packed with quality, especially the top four sides, the traditional top four sides, as you can see. And it's quite simple when you look at the league table. You have Liverpool sitting on top of the league table with 14 points, and this is after 6 games, right? You see Man City sits second with 13 points. Chelsea sits third with 13 points, and Manchester United also sits fourth with 13 points. Now, the difference between these teams are just goal difference. Manchester United with 8 goals, Chelsea with 10, and Liverpool and City with 11 goals. That's plus or minus 3 between these teams, right? That's to show you that this league is going to be very competitive. And then if you look closely at the games they've played so far, you see that Liverpool hasn't gotten a straight run. They've drawn 2 and they've won 3. Manchester City, on the other hand, they've won 4 and they lost 1. So you see that even a draw and a loss is counts. You could look at this and say, oh, but well, Man City has practically won 4 games, and they lost and they drew 1, and see where they sit in the table, right? And then Liverpool has won 3 and drawn 2, but see where they sit on the Premier League table. But that's it. Chelsea has lost 1, won 3, drawn 1. Same with Manchester United, and this is how the table is. And I feel like this is how the table will be come the end of the season. And you can agree with me or disagree with me, yes. And it's open for debate. It's open for people to look at it and say, okay, this is what we expect the league season to be like. But I am personally convinced that it's going to be a very tight Premier League campaign, in the sense that a lot of teams are packed with quality, especially the top 4 teams, or let me use the supposed top 4 teams are packed with quality. You look at Manchester United, packed with quality. You look at Chelsea, packed with quality. Manchester City and Liverpool, no clear distinction. Last weekend, we experienced the game between Chelsea and Man City, and for a lot of us, we predicted that Chelsea would actually be winning that game. And we also predicted that Manchester City is not going into that game with confidence. But then, when the game started, the opposite happened. We saw Chelsea sit back, and Chelsea being more conservative. Chelsea, maybe I don't want to sound offensive for being a bit too scared of Manchester City, but that's what the league is like. Our total expectation got flawed. We expected that Chelsea would be winning that particular game, but then Manchester City won the game. Manchester City absolutely dominated that game of football against Chelsea, against general opinion, against what pundits, what fans thought. Manchester City totally dominated that game, and that's that on that. That's the kind of season we are expecting to have, a season that is difficult to predict. I know I said that Chelsea could win the league, But after seeing their display in the last game, I actually thought this team was going to be a very fearless one. But after seeing that game against Manchester City, it's hard to tell, guys. It's really, really hard to tell, guys. Sorry, just a moment. So, but that's the kind of season we are going to have. And then for those teams that we perceive to be smaller teams, they're actually very competitive. We've seen them have good summers, proper transfers. We've seen them build good teams too. So you don't expect it to be just the big teams. And we've seen that in games where Brentford beat Arsenal in the beginning of the season. And that's the kind of season we should be expecting, a very competitive season. And then when you look at the league table, you see that Everton has 13 points, same as Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City. I'm not saying that Everton will win the league because for several reasons over years, data has shown that the big teams will still ending up top four in the table. Not to say they've not been exceptions in certain seasons, like the season where Leicester won the league. Not to say that, but we know, and the data favors this opinion that the big teams will actually end up top four in the league. Now, but you see teams like Everton will get results even against these big teams, making some of them lose points, right? And making the top four competition still very close. You see teams like Brighton this season have been so good. They've been exceptional. Brighton has been a joy to watch, and it's evident in their performances. They've won 3 of their last 5 fixtures, 6 fixtures, sorry, same as Manchester United, same as Chelsea. They've lost 1 and they've drawn 1, and that's a very good, in fact, that's a fantastic performance from this Brighton side. And Brighton is a team we know that likes to play football properly. They are a very good team. So West Ham too has been very good, even though they got a bit of a setback when Mikel Antonio actually got the red card, and he set them back a bit because he's a focal point of the attack and he's vital to the way they like to play. But for me, the Premier League this season will be very close till the end. I don't see any team running away with it. But this is the beauty, as football fans, we want the league to be packed. We want to see the competition. You want to see people compete, teams compete on how would I put it? We want to see teams compete on a good basis. We don't want to see one team running away with it. We want to be kept on the edge of our seats until the final day of the season. And that's what a football league should be, with proper financing, with proper financial fair play, it being carried out properly, with quotas from TV rights being shared properly. You get proper competitions like what you get in the Premier League right now, unlike what you could see in other leagues where, there's this clear distinction between big teams and small teams. We've seen small teams hold teams, big teams, supposedly big teams to ransom this season. We've seen what Aston Villa did to Manchester United. West Ham too, Manchester United only got lucky in that particular game. But a typical example is the Aston Villa game against Manchester United last weekend, against popular opinion, against what a lot of people thought, including myself. Aston Villa held Manchester United to ransom, and that is going to happen a lot this season with the big teams. These teams have good players. These teams have good managers, a good style of play. They are not afraid to go into a game anymore and then go head to head with the opponents. So that's why I feel about this league season is going to be very tight. It's going to be very close. And if you are a fan of any football club, all you have to do is hope. But if you really think that your team is better than the other one, I'm really very sorry for you, because that was clearly illustrated in the last game between Manchester City and Chelsea, because Chelsea thought that they were going to win that game. Chelsea fans were under the illusion that they were going to win that game. For fans and football people, we all expected Chelsea to be running away with that particular game, but then the opposite happened. Manchester City completely dominated that game of football and won that particular game of football. I put the poll up. Please do well to let me know. Please subscribe to that poll and let me know who you think is going to win the league season. Presently, right now, I have no opinion about who is going to win the league this season. All I can tell you right now is that it's going to be a very close contest, and one of the top 4 teams, Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, or Manchester United, is going to win it. But it's going to be very close, and it's going to take a lot of energy this season. So clubs with larger squad might actually benefit from this particular season because of the contest. And you see teams trying to get out of some competitions so that they can remain competitive. So that's going to happen. So next story is about Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek this season, we saw a video and he was asked to jog during the Champions League fixture between Manchester United and Villarreal, and then only went for the substitution of Fred and what was that again? Yeah, Fred and was it Matic? Ortiz is adamant that it's a Manchester City title. I understand, bro, but it's gonna be a strong contest. I am not saying that Manchester City cannot win the league. No, I just believe that this season is going to be one of the toughest seasons that we've actually experienced because it's going to be very close between teams. Because you look at the quality of teams and there are no clear distinction between, oh, Liverpool has a very good side and Chelsea doesn't have the squad to match up to Liverpool. Oh no, Manchester City is clearly favourite. They have a very good squad, and then Manchester United or Chelsea don't have a good side to compete with Manchester City. The reverse is going to be the case because now you're looking at teams and you're seeing quality packed teams packed with qualities all around across board. You know, from goalkeeping department all the way down to the attack, and that's what you should expect. And for me, as a football fan first, before maybe a Manchester United fan, I'm first a football fan because I love football. People that know me way back know that I'm crazy about football, you know, playing football and getting everything about football. So from a football perspective, from a football fan's perspective, it will be fun to have a very close league. You know, I want to see every fan on the edge of their seat till the last day of the league, you know. So, but back to the Donny van der Beek story, we saw him practically angry that Ole did not have him in that particular game against Villarreal. And rightly so, you know, there have been a lot of sentiments towards Donny van der Beek. He's a player I like very much, but I'll try and play the devil's advocate in this particular topic. And I might be wrong, and you can prove me, you know, wrong too, you know. But first of all, I want to react to what he did. First of all, he threw, you know, we saw him throw away the jersey, the beep, sorry, and then we saw him, you know, spitting out gum and throwing it away. And even though Oli made a joke out of it, it was clear in that video that he was frustrated at his playing time. But then Oli also sounded a warning, which every manager will do, that he cannot accommodate complacency in his team. He cannot accommodate what's the word exactly that he used? So it means that even if you're a squad player, even if you are not in the starting 11, you have to always work for the benefit of the team. And I can understand this because I've also played football personally. Even times in a particular team where I was not a starter, I should be happy that my team is winning. You know, I cannot put my personal interest above the interest of the team. That will make me selfish, and that means I did not belong to that particular group. So it's a team sport. It means even if somebody will always have to sit on the bench, that's just the reality. The reality that a lot of people don't want to face, including players. Somebody will always have to sit on the bench for somebody else to play. It's just as simple as that. And no matter how you want to look at it back and forth, that's what a team sport is. Somebody has to be a substitute for somebody that is starting. It's no two ways about it. But the point is, even as a substitute, you have to keep knocking on that door. You have to keep knocking for you to get your first team shirt. It's just as simple as that. You have to work harder than whoever is taking your position in the first team. It's not very easy. You know, it's simple to say and everything. But then, like I said, I play football even when I've not been in the first team. But you have to bring out that quality that you can contribute to that team. I give you a perfect example. Sorry. Okay, now the question, first of all, is the times that Donny van der Beek has been given the chance, right? Has he really used it, to be honest? Or should we just apply sentiments in Donny van der Beek playing? Because for you to start a match, you should tell me that you are better than the people I'm using in my first team. And that's what Oli said. And from a coaching perspective, yes, that is right. The times that Donny van der Beek has come in, has he actually proved to be better than the rest? To be honest. Yeah, exactly, Choma. It's a team sport, and his actions are unacceptable. Now, of course, we've seen video after in training where he's still smiling, but we know it might just be a momentary thing where he's just his emotions is getting the best of him. But then again, you cannot show that on television. You have to be careful of how you portray your emotions, especially in a football game where there are cameras everywhere and everything. So, but then back to what I was saying. Now, the manager has to protect his team too. So if you don't fit into that particular group, or if you're against that particular group, he has to find a way to kick you out of the team. That's just as simple as that. We've seen that happen, and Ole might not be the first manager to do that. Jose Mourinho has done that countless of times. Alex Ferguson, even in his time, kicked out his captain, because you cannot have two captains in a ship. He's captain, but the moment he began to go against the team, they have to look for a way to send him out, and it's just as simple as that. But my point is this: I'll give a practical example with Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard knows he's a squad player. The moment he rejected the option of moving to West Ham this season after a very brilliant loan spell with West Ham from the second quarter of last season, where he scored 7 goals or 9 goals, I think, in the Premier League from January to the end of the season. Very exceptional for West Ham. But he rejected to move to West Ham this summer. And the moment he did that, what he knows, what is for sure, is that he was ready to be a squad player. But let's look at Jesse Lingard this season. For every single time that he has been substituted into a football game for Manchester United, he came in with a positive mentality, and he has affected those games positively. Yes, you can make an exception for fans, and they make mistakes, just that make mistakes. So that's the case for Lingard. But every single time he has come in, he has either been involved in the goal or scored the winning goal. We saw that in the Champions League. Okay, now we want to say Donny van de Beek is pissed that Ole did not bring him in that particular Champions League game. But look what happened. The substitution worked. Ole went for Fred to replace Telles at left back, and Fred was the one that brought the cross that led to Cristiano Ronaldo nodding the ball to Lingard, who was also another substitute. Lingard, in his place, gave the ball back to Cristiano Ronaldo to score, because he was in a better position. So what happened was, the substitute that Ole brought in instead of Donny, Fred, brought a cross in for the substitute again that Ole, for Ronaldo, sorry, and Ronaldo brought it down for a substitute that Ole chose instead of Donny van de Beek, who in turn, this same substitute, get the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo to score the winning goal. So you could see that if you look at it in the general picture, it would have gone wrong too. But then a manager is tasked to make a decision, whether right or wrong. He has to bear the consequences of his decision or enjoy the benefits of his decisions. It's just as simple as that. So I feel like Donny van de Beek needs to be more patient, and every single time he comes in, Donny van de Beek needs to come in with a positive mentality, because if he starts sulking or he comes in with a negative mentality, he's never going to make it into the first team for Manchester United. It's just as simple as that. And then Ole said something which I think is true. A lot of us might have our perception about Ole and, might consider him a joke or he's lying. But I don't think any player in history has been a substitute figure as much as Ole. We all know Ole as babyface assassin. We all know him as the killer. What's the word again? Super sub. Yeah, Ole was actually called a super sub because he knew he was a substitute player, not a starter for Manchester United, but he made history as a substitute player, which means for every single time he came onto the football pitch, he came in with a positive mentality that he was going to make a difference in that particular game. And that's what made the record for him. That's what made him a super sub. That's what made him a babyface assassin, because whenever he comes into a game, even if he was being brought into the game at the dying minute, he scores a goal. So Donny needs to come in with that same mentality, and it's just a matter of time before he gets his place in the starting 11. Meaning to say that Manchester United still have pending problems, like Paul Pogba still not signing a new contract. And if Paul Pogba doesn't sign a new contract till January, we know Manchester United is going to find a way to show him off the door. It's just as simple as that, which means they will not be able to keep him, and he's no longer a Manchester United player. And then Donny van de Beek might probably get his chance, because if by January Paul Pogba has not signed a new contract, Ole can now, in his right conscience, decide not to play him anymore. It's just as simple as that. Because he's going to now start looking at, okay, well, you're not part of our future, so why do I have to keep playing you? You've decided you don't want to renew a contract to this club. So fine, no problem. I don't have to play you. I don't have to pay you, so I don't have to play you, so let's just go ahead and play somebody with contracts, that has a contract with us, and somebody that is going to stay with us in the long run. So let's quickly move on to the other section of the show, which is segment of the show, which is where I try to look at the fixtures and I try to analyze it, and I swear try to give you what I feel might be the result for this particular game. My what we call predictions. So yeah, 12:30 West African time, Manchester United hosts Everton. Tough game to predict, and but for some reason, for some reason, Ole tends to get it easy. Call it luck, or it's just he just being fortunate that whenever he has to play a difficult fixture, something works in his favor somehow. And then for this particular game, we saw that players like Richarlison and three more of their key players will be out injured. You know, and well, that's the luck of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Nobody can argue with that. But Manchester United against Everton at Old Trafford, considering the injuries Everton have, I'm not going to say that, oh, it's a straight win or Manchester United will be smashing Everton, because we've seen in recent days and weeks that Manchester United are still not playing as a team yet, which is a problem for them. You know, it's been the magic of Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and like that, but they still need to play as a team, as a unit. But then also in the league table, you will see that these two teams are close together, with Manchester United sitting fourth on the Premier League table and Everton sits fifth on the Premier League table, both having same point. The only difference between Everton and Manchester United right now in the Premier League is the goal difference. Yes, the goal difference is the only thing that separates Manchester United and Everton in the Premier League this season. But then Manchester United is at home, and Everton is Manchester United is at home, and Everton has a couple of injuries going into this particular game. And so, guys, I'll be going for a win for Manchester United. Not probably the runaway kind of win, but a very close one. It's going to be a close encounter, just like the games with Everton in the past used to be. So I'm going for a, and also the couple with the fact that Manchester United is still unable to keep clean sheets, I'll be going for a 2-1 win in favor of Manchester United over Everton. Yes, 2-1 win in favor of Manchester United over against Everton, considering the circumstances around which this game is going to be played, with Everton and injuries, with Manchester United and being at home, you know, in front of the fans at the Stratford end, you know. 2-1 win in favor of Manchester United for me, says Choma. Okay. Let me know in the comment section your predictions for this particular game. Yes, the next game after that is by 15:00 West African time, where Burnley hosts Norwich. Look at the Premier League table and see where Burnley sits on the Premier League table. Burnley sits 19th on the Premier League table, and Norwich City sits 20. So this is battle of the bastards, if you must say. You know, two teams tending towards relegation, two teams that have not won a single game this season in the Premier League. So what can we expect in this particular game? What can we expect? You know, you can argue Norwich. Both teams have just been bad. There's no way to glorify any of them. But then we can say that Norwich has been worse than Burnley, because Burnley has been able to get two draws at least so far this season. You know, and they and so it's I feel like, yeah, I strongly feel that this particular game is still going to be a draw. No matter how you look at it, it's going to be a draw game. I don't see Burnley with the capacity to break Norwich down, and likewise. But I feel like both teams are going to get goals, so I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Burnley and Norwich. Yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about this particular game. I strongly feel it's going to be a 1-1 draw in this particular fixture. The next game after that, it's still same time. Chelsea will be hosting Southampton, and I don't want to waste. Something has been poor so far this season. They've drawn 4 games and they've lost 1. You know, and Chelsea, on the other hand, we know where Chelsea is on the Premier League table. You know, Chelsea sits third in Premier League table with 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. But then something else can happen. Southampton has been consistent with draws this season, and so they could actually just get a draw against Chelsea. That's my second opinion. My first opinion is that Chelsea would be winning this game. But then again, Southampton could get a draw from Chelsea in this particular game. But I will strongly hold on the fact that Chelsea should be winning this game, especially because it's at Stamford Bridge. They have no reason whatsoever not to win this particular game. So I really believe they should be smashing Southampton. And in a situation where they cannot smash Southampton, then they will be getting a draw in this particular game. But for me, straight win for Chelsea. Same time, 15:00 West African time, Leeds United host Watford. Yes. Tough game to predict considering the circumstances and considering the league table. Leeds United actually sits 18th on the Premier League table, and Watford sits 12th. Between these two teams, who is a better team? Probably I could say Leeds United. They've just had tougher fixtures so far, if you want to put it that way. Against the Watford side, they could just run riot in this particular game. Watford, on the other hand, as a team coming from the lower division, have been quite good, to be honest, considering the fact that you expect poor results and stuff normally for teams that are newly promoted into the Premier League. But Watford is not also a team that is alien to the Premier League. History shows that they've been in the Premier League a lot of times. So far they've won one game, they've drawn one, and they've lost three. Whereas Leeds, on the other hand, have drawn three and lost two. So you see that it's going to be a game of fine margins. It's going to be a close contest. Chama says Chelsea 2, Southampton 0. That's a score prediction. I feel like if Chelsea is going to win this game, it might just be more than 2-0, And if they are not going to win it, it will just be a draw, of both teams not getting a goal, like a boring draw or something of that sort. But I feel, 2-0. It could also be 2-0. Yes, it could be 2-0, But I strongly feel Chelsea will win this game, just like you feel, Choma. I strongly feel Chelsea will be winning this particular game. Next game, same time, Wolverhampton Wanderers hosting Newcastle. And let's look quickly at the table where Newcastle sits 17th in Premier League table, one of those teams struggling with relegation. And then Wolves, on the other hand, sits 14th on the Premier League table. So you see that it's still just a battle of the Wolves. So far this season, they've won 2 games, lost 3. Newcastle, on the other hand, drawn 3, lost 2. It's tough, it's tough to say because first of all, I want to clearly say that I'm happy that Raul Jimenez is back. I am happy that he scored his first goal since same time last year, where he had suffered the head injury beginning of the season like this, and then he was out for the rest of the season. I'm happy he's back, and the goal he scored last weekend was a spectacular goal. We know the qualities of Raul Jimenez, and we know it's going to take time, psychologically, for him to come back to full fitness, for him to be that player he used to be, But I strongly believe, because I know he's a very good striker, and I expect Raul Jimenez to actually be banging goals this season. I hope that what happened last season last weekend is a start of a bright future again for him. It's tough, considering the fact that the head injury could have been worse, but we thank God that he's fine. We thank God that he can come back playing football, and that goal was just something else. It was simply magical. So for this particular game, I'm going for a win in favor of Wolverhampton. Yes, if Raul Jimenez have discovered his form, then Newcastle will not stand the chance against Wolves. And Wolves is a very decent team all around, from attack to defense. They have good players, so you expect them to actually do well. Newcastle, on the other hand, a decent team, over reliant on Saint Maxim, but he's not a player that really rates when it comes to the other end of things, when it comes to final balls and the rest. So I think that's the problem that Newcastle United faces. Yes, he's a player I trust 100 times, 10 times over 10 to beat his man on one, but he's not a player that has the best of final balls. So for me, straight win for Wolverhampton, a very close win, 2-1 win or a 1-0 win in favor of Wolverhampton against Newcastle. Yes, that's what my prediction will be for that particular game. And then after that is 17:30 West African time, where Brighton hosts Arsenal. I think this is going to be another tough test for Arsenal, because Brighton is not one of those teams that you can just push aside. It's evident in the league table where Brighton sits sixth in the Premier League table and Arsenal sits below them in 10th. Arsenal has won 3 out of their last two. You could say they are becoming quite consistent. We can say they've won 3 out of their last three. So Arsenal, you can argue, is coming back to their best. But then on the other hand, Brighton has been very good too. Brighton has only lost a game this season. They've won three and they've drawn one. So it's not going to be an easy ride for Arsenal. And I strongly don't think that Arsenal will just be running away with this particular game. I strongly don't think that, to be honest. Please let me know if my screen is frozen. It seems like my screen is frozen over here. Please let me know if my screen is frozen. I would like to know that. Or if everything seems to be functioning on the other end. But from this end, my screen seems to be frozen. But let's quickly move on. Sunday, 14:00 West African time, Crystal Palace will be hosting Leicester. Yeah, okay, yeah. Back to the Brighton game. I've not given my prediction for this particular game. Okay, my screen is fine. Okay, I don't have to be worried. I feel like Brighton will get a draw in this particular game. I don't see them winning Arsenal because Arsenal is presently in form, but I strongly feel all right. Everything is functioning fine. Oh, perfect. I don't see Brighton winning this particular game, and I don't see Arsenal winning it either. So I feel like it's going to be draw. But if any team is going to win this game, I'll tilt towards the side of Brighton. To be honest, I feel like Brighton has a better chance of winning this particular game rather than Arsenal. Then Sunday, 14:00 West African time, Crystal Palace hosts Leicester City. And let's quickly look at the league table where Crystal Palace sits 15th on the Premier League table, and Leicester City sits 13th. So these are teams that are very close in the league table. Leicester City has won one game only this season. They've lost three and they've drawn one. And Crystal Palace have won just one game too this season. They've drawn one and they've drawn three and they've lost one. So you see, this is a match that is going to be very close. Leicester has not been the best so far this season. We are yet to see that Leicester that could be very, very exciting to watch, especially on the counter attack. So we'll see what happens in this particular game. But I'm easily going to go for a draw. I feel like it's going to be a 2-2 draw or a 1-1 draw in this particular game. I don't see Leicester winning this game, and I don't see Crystal Palace winning it either. So I'm going for a straight double draw, but it's most definitely not going to be a goalless draw. That's not going to happen. I feel like both teams are going to score in this game. So if you're betting both teams to score, will just work quite well for you. Same time, 14:00 West African time, Tottenham Hotspur will be hosting Aston Villa. Yes. We've seen what Aston Villa can do so far this season, no doubt. We've seen it, and it's also evident in the league table that Aston Villa has been quite good this season. They sit 8th in the Premier League table. They've won 3 games so far this season. One against Manchester United. We saw what they did with Liverpool. Very terrifying. Was it Liverpool or Manchester City? Yeah, I think it was Liverpool. We saw what they did with we've seen what they did with Liverpool. Yeah, that was Liverpool, and then Manchester United, and you cannot write Aston Villa off in any particular fixture right now. So Aston Villa, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and Tottenham Hotspur, 2 wins, 3 losses in their last 5 fixtures. Tottenham was good first 3 games of the season, where they were winning 1-1-0s and keeping clean sheets. But we've seen everything go downhill from then. And guys, to be honest, in as much as Tottenham played very good in the Europa League game they had this week, but this is the Premier League, guys. I'm going for a win in favor of Aston Villa. Yes, 3-2 win in favor of Aston Villa over Tottenham Hotspur. I feel like Tottenham is still not solid at the back. And I feel like Aston Villa, with the way they played this season, they would actually get goals against Tottenham Hotspur. Next game, 14:00 West African time, West Ham United host Brentford. Tough game to predict because Brentford has been quite good so far this season, and it's very evident in the Premier League table where Brentford sits. Brentford sits ninth on the Premier League table. They've won one, they've drawn three, and they've lost one. And then on the other hand, West Ham United sits seventh, won two, drawn two, and lost one. But for this particular game with Mikel Antonio back, I have no doubt in my mind. Oh, Choma says I think Tottenham will win 1-0. Yeah, very possible. Very possible. Very, very possible. But we'll see. That game is on Sunday. Of course, nobody has superpowers, and that's the beautiful thing about football, that you can as well just drop your predictions and everything, but then when the game starts, it's a different ball game altogether. So, of course, Tottenham could also win this particular game. It's still going to be a very tight encounter, the way I see it. Very, very tight encounter. So with Mikel Antonio back, I strongly feel that West Ham United will be winning this particular game. I don't think Brentford has anything over West Ham United. West Ham has been good this season, and Mikel Antonio banging on all cylinders. Man, Mikel Antonio has been a joy to watch. You know, irrespective of the red card and everything, he makes a big difference for this West Ham side. And so, guys, without any doubt in my mind, I feel like West Ham will be winning this particular game 1-0. Yes, 1-0 in favor of West Ham for this particular game. And then 14:00 West African time, same time, last fixture of the weekend. But then this is the biggest game of the weekend where Liverpool will be hosting Manchester City. Yes, Liverpool host Manchester City 14:00 West African time tomorrow. And tough game to really analyze, tough game to really predict considering the circumstances. Of course, we know that Liverpool sits first on the Premier League table with 14 points, and Manchester City sits second with 13 points. Both teams very close. The difference, just a point difference, same on goal difference. So it's going to be a very tough encounter. Very, very tough encounter. And then when you really look at it, Liverpool had a good Champions League game this week, and Man City on the other side lost to a very good PSG side. We all know a PSG side that is packed with quality. And a lot of people will say that you really expect Manchester City to lose that particular game, considering the qualities that PSG portrays. This particular game against Liverpool, tough to predict, guys. Tough to predict. Liverpool won Manchester City 2, a very tough game indeed, but I predict in favor of City anyways. Okay, Chama feels that City will be winning Liverpool in this particular game. And to be honest, I want to tilt towards that direction too, because City is one side that is quite technically gifted. They play, of course, you cannot hide the fact that Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in history. We can argue for or against, or a lot of people with their own different opinions, but that fact still remains that Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in history. Tactically sound, and he knows how to get the best from his players. And Liverpool, in as much as they're topping the Premier League so far this season, they have a fantastic player in Mohamed Salah, who I feel is hugely overrated. Maybe because he's African and any of those stuff, but I feel Salah is hugely overrated and isn't usually placed in the world-class position where I strongly feel he should be, because he has been consistent for years at a very high level and he has won trophies with Liverpool. But still, for some reason, it seems like there's a block where that stops people from putting Salah in a position that he rightfully deserves to be as a world-class player. I strongly feel Mohamed Salah is a world-class player and should be positioned as such. I also feel like there are world-class players at Manchester City, like Kevin De Bruyne, like Ruben Diaz. These are very good players, world-class players. But I feel like in this particular game, that Manchester City tactically would get one over Liverpool. But then, not disputing the fact that Anfield is a tough place to go and play a football match. First of all, because of their fans. We all know what the fans at Anfield can be. They're very close to the fields, to the playing surface, so the jeers from the fans are in your ears and stuff, and we know that their fans and their anthem is quite intimidating. But then I don't think Manchester City is one team that can easily get intimidated. They are a very good team. Manchester City is a very good team. Yeah, yeah. Mohamed Salah is very underrated. Yes, that's what I mean. He is not put in the position where he should be. I feel he's a world class player, but for some reason, maybe because he's African or for some reasons whatsoever, people tend to drop him just below the world class status. But I feel like Mohamed Salah, and this is the opinion of most football people that watch football, Mohamed Salah is a world class player, undisputed. Why people don't want to put him in the conversation beats me. But then that's the thing about football. Some people tend to pick and choose. But me, like I say, I'm first a football fan before being a Manchester United fan. That's why I can have a channel where I talk football and not just Manchester United. Because first of all, I'm a football fan, and I like to look at things football from the right perspective, and Salah falls into that too because I feel he's a world class player, but some people just don't want to talk about it. Some people just don't want to talk about it. Um, yeah, Salah deserves way more. He really does deserve way more. And I feel like we should have these conversations. Probably next week we should talk about it with more people on the show. Is Mohamed Salah a world class player? That should be the topic for next week. A discussion that I really want to have with other fans just to see their own opinion on the matter. But I strongly feel that he's a world class player. But we'll see what other people's opinions are, or if we would all agree that Mohamed Salah is a world class player. For some reason, some people just don't want to talk about it, and so they just put him below that status. But for this particular game, guys, I feel like Manchester City will be winning this particular game. It's going to be tight, so I'll go for another 1-0 win for Manchester City over Liverpool. And yes, that's the last game for the weekend. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now. And if you're watching this show, smash that like button. Share this link with your friends so that they can also see what we predicted in this show and things we've talked about. So yeah, that's it, guys. See you guys in my next video. It's Zike Junior on Saturday Football with Zike Junior, and I'm signing out. See you guys in my next video. Bye.